Hello, hello. Welcome to Miracles of Health, Own Your Own Body, featuring Judy Marie. So we're just going to start this. We're going to jump right into it. I want to thank you for coming to this this call. I know everyone's busy, but I want to open it up for a little bit of a share before we start with Judy, and basically share any experiences you have during the process of the cleansing and detoxing. And I know my mom's on the call there, and she started this a little while ago as well. So I just wanted to share a bit, and I want to open it up for you all to share on and anything, any insights or any tips or something to help with the experience of anybody wanting to get involved. Like I started last week, and the changes are happening so fast that I think the cleansing or the detox is something you don't realize you need until you start doing it. You don't realize how important it is until you actually start doing it. I've been aware of this for so long, and I've dabbled in it. You've done these cleansing shakes for a bit, but when you actually be persistent and you take it regularly, you really feel a difference. And you know, if we're working, for instance, like with Bob Proctor, it's mindset is very important. But if our body's not in the right space, you know, you can have a great mindset, but if your body's not there, then you're not working in harmony. So I just wanted to share that and to gain the ownership back to you, you know, and if anything we don't own will own us. Something I read a little while ago. So I wanted to share that, and I want to open it up for a discussion. If anybody wants to share anything, we're going to, if you just go to more on the top, raise your hand, or you can just unmute yourself and you can share however you want. I know my mom too, she might want to say something too there. Like, put me on the spot, would you?
Yeah. You don't have a choice. Oh yeah, go ahead, Kimberly.
Well, I've been taking the Pure Cleanse fiber caps and the Parasite for must be 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks now. And I can tell a huge difference, just mentally can tell a huge difference. I feel a lot happier. I feel a lot more positive. Like little negative things doesn't let me down. So mentally I feel it more. I've been trying to drink more water because I know that everything works a lot better with water, but I just feel better. And like I posted on the group, I don't crave sugar as much as I used to. I used to have candy kind of hidden in my desk at work, and I'm really sorry, Judy. But I had, a couple pieces of candy because I have a sweet tooth, and I totally forgot I actually had it there until the other day. I was looking for some papers and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I have candy in here. So that's kind of my experience and how much it's really helped me. And I've already gone down a pant size just from the lack of sugar I've been consuming. So that's kind of my experience with it.
Thanks, Kimberly.
That's great.
Anybody else want to share anything for a few minutes?
Hi, I'm Chris, and I have not done it, am not doing it, but I have been curious about it. So I'm here just to hear what you all have to say because I'm contemplating trying it. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm Nancy, and I haven't started the cleanse yet, but I have done not the master cleanse, the 7-day, forget what that was called, but that was years ago, but I had some pretty significant things come out of my body at that time. So that was pretty awesome. So, but I could definitely use another one. Maybe not that particular one, but more like Judy's, a little bit more every day. So.
Thanks, Nancy. Nancy and I have worked together, wow, maybe close to 30 years. And we've done some formulas together. She has used the products with the company for years and years. And it's just been incredible experience to see all the transitions that people make as they start realizing, not letting the body control us, but we can have control of the body. And I want to start out tonight talking about two main reasons why the body gets out of balance. Too much of something or not enough of something else, toxicity and deficiency. And tonight, I really want to impress to us the importance of why we're even doing this. So and I like this example. I like to use different examples. Like, would you wash your clothes without detergent? Or would you wash your clothes with dirty water? Probably not. I wouldn't think so. And so our bodies need to go through times to get rid of the toxins and the poisons that accumulate. My very, very first experience with how toxins have accumulated in the body was years ago, that when I worked with, she was an old German herbalist. Her name was Vita, in Chatsworth, California. A just amazing, amazing lady. And so she took me through my first, I wasn't even a cleanse. It was just it radically changed my nutrition, changed my diet. And then after that, I took herbs for a while, really started getting my bowels moving. And in 30 days, I had such an adverse reaction. And I literally called her up and I said, I think I'm dying. Okay, what are you doing to me? So I had a headache and I couldn't even lift my head off the bed. And I didn't understand that. And it was so intense. And I thought, well, how can I keep working with you? I'm feeling worse. And this is when people want to stop and give up. And she said to me, all of the spinal taps you had as a child, all those chemicals are coming out of the spine and releasing out of the brain. And it smelt like chemicals coming out of my pores. And for 3 days, I could not lift my head off the bed. And way back when I used to get the spinal taps, when they were given to me, then you couldn't lift your head off the bed for quite a while. It was that's how they were able to take the pictures of the spine, but the buildup of the chemicals were so strong. I had no idea that still had accumulated, that stayed in my body all those years, until I went through the first layer of shedding of toxins coming out of my body. And like I said, I could smell it. And there are people who they'll say, I smell if they have the mercury in their fillings, if they have certain chemicals build up in their body, they'll say, oh, that's funny. I'm smelling this now, or I'm smelling a real metallic taste, or the chemicals have to start coming out when we start to really cleanse the system. This is so fascinating to me. And after I went through it, and a healing crisis could last 3 to 4 to 5 days. It depends on the level of toxins that have built up in the system. And then they release. It was amazing the difference my brain felt, how much better it felt, like my body was circulating with releasing the chemicals. Anytime a person has gone through medical surgery, or they've taken medications, depending on the drugs they've taken, people think you drink some water, it's going to be out of your body, you're going to be just fine. No, you're not. The chemicals lodge in and they embed in the tissue. So I'm why I'm starting out with this. I know we went through some pretty good basic things last week, and Chris, I'd be able to share that video with you, that recording, that could help too. So we're going into a little bit this time about how to deal with some of these symptoms that do come up when we start to detoxify. So why, in the bigger picture of things, going through a purification right now, as our whole planet is going through a purification, the whole world is going through a purification, Mother Earth is going through a purification. One of the awesome actions we can take to help our planet is to involve ourselves in our own personal purification and getting the toxins, the poisons, anything, even on a physical level, that is blocking us from being able to perform, be able to use our gifts to put our best self forward and be free to be who we really are. It comes from our thoughts, our minds, it comes from the emotions in our spirit, and the body is the last teacher to communicate to us when something has gone amok, when something's out of balance. The body is trying to say, hello, what are you thinking? Hello, what are you eating? Okay, this is what, I'm feeling. And I found this fascinating, that if we did not experience pain, okay, in our bodies, if we did not experience pain, I don't know, people could cut their nose off and make their own plastic surgery, would be painless, or they could do different things to their body. But pain is a powerful, important mechanism that has been engineered and created inside of us for a reason. Okay. Now, how long we want to suffer with the pain, that we have choices and we have options with. But as far as knowing, wait, when the body is saying, this is going on, and I, for years, I was like this because I have such a high, strong pain threshold. I have learned, if there is a little bit now of something going on, pay attention to it. What is my body trying to share with me of something else for me to be aware of that I'm doing? So it's constantly, we have choices, consequences, and that we can make better choices and decisions for ourselves if we could be a little bit educated on this. So the idea of the purification, all healing, all change, anything, even on this earth, the best thing for the planet, it's got to come first from within us, from within ourselves. And to have, like Paul was sharing, once we start to get more consistent with what it is, we will have more consistent benefits that will come from it as well. I want to go through some common symptoms that people may have when they go through the detoxifying process or releasing toxins. It could be a very gentle process. It depends on what a person's constitution is. It could be hard, it could be sharp, fast, or it could be kind of gentle. They might get headaches. They might have flu-type symptoms. Okay. And if you contact me and this is going on with you, I am going to be so ecstatic because it is working. Okay. The body heals from the head down, and then reverse tissue condition. And based upon what your symptoms and conditions are, that's how the body heals. So that's why a lot of times at first people will have a headache. Did you want to say something, Paul?
I don't want to
No, this is great.
but this is experience, like experiencing it from it. And from Monday to Sunday, it was like the headache didn't go away. And I knew that this was because toxins are in the bloodstream. And I knew that we got to get over that hump. I didn't feel good for like 3 days. It was a full on just, I just knew what I'm doing. I'm feeling uncomfortable. So that's a good sign. If I'm comfortable, it's not good. So I just want to share, yes, headaches probably are going to happen and it's going to be uncomfortable for a couple days, but you can get past it. That's all.
Yeah,
There we go.
that's great. Yeah, that's a sign things are working. What else can happen to people? They might feel like they have a cold, they have swollen glands, they might have a sore throat. They're this is how the body is using its own elimination channels to heal. That's the colon, the kidney, the lungs, and the skin. Okay, we want to activate those no matter what. And also people might feel achy. Okay, they might feel, wow, I haven't felt this in a long time. Or they might feel gassy. This is so fabulous what goes on with the body because it's trying to heal itself. We are born with this higher intelligence that is so brilliant of how it can heal itself. And I speak so much with passion with this because I personally have reversed diabetes. I personally have reversed Epstein-Barr, diverticulitis. I have reversed cancer, a degenerative bone condition. And it's not because I am like, oh, no medicine, no drugs, no. It's because I am so pro-life for using the natural laws of healing that are in the universe. They are a fact, that if we use the right modalities and the mindset and bring the spirit connected in for the healing, it is unlimited to what we can regenerate. And I'm going to share this with you. This happened. Oren's aware of it, who's online, and a couple people that this happened maybe about a month ago. I came home and I was having, it wasn't the flu, okay, and it wasn't from detoxifying. I was having a hard time breathing. I was having a high fever. My throat was so sore and swollen. I really have no doubt I was exposed to COVID. It just came on so fast. It was so strong. And I just thought, okay, here we go. And then it was shared with me, no, you claim perfect health and wellness now. And I said to every cell of my body, we are not doing this. Okay. We are in perfect health. And I just kept doing affirmations over and over and claiming nothing but perfection of health. And I was thanking higher power source for healing and restoring me. 4 hours later, every symptom was gone. I went back to work. I had nothing. Okay. Now I believe in tapping into the power in this way. I believe in having an immune system, thought process, having products that are on such a high vibration that would typically take people years and years is greatly shortened because of that. When there's pure intention of what is made into it, what is cared for it, how all the hands that go into this process, it makes such a difference of how the rate that we will heal. And so I just want to, encourage everybody, if you're not feeling your best, don't give up. You can do this. Okay. Being here to support you, being here to help you. And this is, I say sometimes short-term pain for long-term gain. When we give up something for something greater and better, the body can only restore in wellness. It can restore in our joy. It can restore in our happiness, um, and fulfill, have such an abundant life of those hopes and those dreams, whatever it is, to be expand more and more. And that's especially what excites me and interests me with all that we do with Miracles of Health, all that I'm involved in that has to do with um, helping people and helping people take the next step and take the next step. It's just, it's so fulfilling that way. I'd like to share with you, if Kimberly doesn't mind putting up the sheet, the 9 important health factors. So there's a lady who concluded this and came up with this. Her name is Kelly Turner, and I want to give her the credit. There was a study done. She's a PhD and a researcher, and she studied people from all over the world who had life-threatening, serious illnesses and conditions, but recovered 100%. 100% when every hope, everything was given up for them. There were 7 factors she concluded, 75 factors she concluded that most people use. Then she narrowed it down to the 9 that everyone used. Okay. And so one of them is radically changing their diet, taking control of their health, following their intuition, using herbs and supplements, releasing suppressed emotions, increasing positive emotions, embracing social support. This is very, very important in healing. Deepening your spiritual connection, has a strong reason for living. Thanks, Kimberly. This is awesome. Okay. And if anyone, afterwards or tomorrow, they want to have this sent to you, I'm happy, we'll email it to you. But this is really core to, in our healing process of, keeping in mind, not one thing ever causes a condition and not one thing cures it. Not one thing causes it and not one thing cures it. It's a variety of what causes us to come into have these different symptoms and conditions, okay? And nothing just comes right overnight, nor will it be healed and cured. Well, I don't know, might be healed and cured overnight. We don't limit the spirit at all. But the process of unraveling, this is where I say to people, kind of take your time with it, because also when we start releasing more toxins, it might not be the time you're going to hike Pikes Peak. Okay. It might be the time that you have a little more solitude, contemplation, because there's different emotions come up that, oh my gosh, awarenesses. And that's what I call them, opportunities, awareness. It's just being moved through. It's just being moved out. You don't have to, go and journal for 100 years. It's like, oh, okay, this is what's moving through. And that's why I talk about the social part of it, having the support, having the people. That's why we started our Facebook group too, that they can be able to communicate back and forth, or they can email into the company. Some people like the fact that they have a partner to talk with about this. And so that works really well. So to move energy and to heal, it takes 2 or more, okay, people to do that. Even when you're on this call today, hopefully you'll feel this elevated vibration of, wow, I want more of that. I can do this. Okay. I have a bigger mission and a purpose here. It's or maybe it's very simple. You want to feel real good just getting up and down the stairs. Okay, it could be. It doesn't matter. What matters is taking the action. I love in this one program I'm in, we call it the 3 A's. We have the awareness, we have the acceptance, and we have the action. Okay, I have the awareness. I want to make these changes. I accept the fact this is what got me to here, or I accept the fact this is where I'm at, and I want to, I'm going to do something about it. Then what are my action steps? Okay, real simple. So we're just providing some, through doing these few classes of sharing, oh wow, okay, here's some ideas and input that could help you feel better about yourself. I want to go through some steps right now also that's important to keep in mind while you go through the cleansing process. Wash your sheets more often. Okay. And that sounds kind of strange, but parasites are in the Parasite formula. I mean, parasites get released out of the body from taking the Parasite formula, taking the Pura Cleanse. And it's amazing how it could come out different parts of the body. Microscopic, you may not see it. Some people do. But I really recommend that you wash your sheets frequently and definitely your clothes. That's pretty important. Let's talk about bathing, skin brushing. So if some of you aren't aware of this, dry skin brushing is good to do, and you take it up towards the heart, everything up towards the heart, and then you could soak in the tub. Our skin is like our third kidney. Okay, it is, wow, one of the ways the body really breathes and releases toxins. And in the tub, whether you use Epsom salt and baking soda, or you use our bath bombs through the company, which are amazing, it will help draw out more of the toxicity a lot faster and a lot quicker through the skin. And you might see on the water little sparklies. If you see little sparklies, which is not uncommon when you cleanse, again, that's parasitic debris that's coming out through the skin. So I would really, and perspire, people don't sweat enough. That is another way the toxins get to come out the skin as well. Sit in the tub till you break a sweat, or when you're exercising, that's another nice way that you can release some of the more toxins out of you. I want to talk about chewing your water and drinking your food. Okay. I always have to think when I say that. Okay. It's the idea is to slow down chewing your food so you can release the enzymes that will digest it a lot easier. And then an average time per bite should be 24 chews. That's just an average that people have studied this throughout the years that releases the maximum amount of enzymes for the body to digest. So it'd be interesting for you to try that. Okay, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Just try that for a bite. What will happen is you tend to eat less food because there's a lot of chewing. There are people who have less problems with their jaws because they start to chew better, which is fascinating, where, to move this part of our body in, I remember I had moments, and it's something that I still have to watch, where before I know it, I've eaten something, I don't even know what it tasted like. Okay. And to be able to slow that down, and when you chew, sit. Your digestive system will work so much better. Make sure you sit down. Okay. And drinking water is really it's important that you don't chug a bunch of water at once. That's really hard on your system. It's better to have a fourth of a cup throughout the day versus, oh, I didn't drink water all day, so they take down a whole quart of water. That's really hard on the system. Not to mention, let the water, be felt in your mouth, okay, and feel that, and your body will hydrate a lot easier if you can do that. um, I'm reminded of one of my herb teachers. He lived in Bakersfield, California, Larry Annis. Awesome, awesome man. He was in at the time when I started working with him, around 80. And I drive 2 to 2.5 hours every month for 5 years to have him train me. And I believed in studying from the old herbalist. I truly love the way they were taught, and they weren't afraid how to use the herbs and cleanses to restore and heal the body, and they lived it themselves. And Larry, Nancy probably remembers Larry, and it just what a good heart and soul. And so I'd get there every time. He would have me sit down. He would fix lunch, uh, raw food, stuff you'd have to chew forever. Okay. And Larry was amazing. And I'm always surprised that people are in their 80s and they have their own teeth. Okay. Larry had some teeth. I would just like, wow, how do you do that? Okay. But our first hour of the session was nothing but chewing food. And my first several times going there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm driving 2.5 hours just to sit and chew food. Okay. But I'll tell you what, the repetition, there was so much wisdom in that. And how he took time every day to select his foods, because he said, I eat to live. He was wanting to teach me that for over and over, that I'm making these choices because to feed my life. And as I shared, like last session, life brings forth more life. Okay. And to be able to consciously practice that. And for me, it's an ongoing practice. I've had incredible teachers, and I still, am practicing. And thank goodness I work in an industry that I get to talk about this and be around this all the time. So anyways, Larry would, oh my goodness, he would just sit there and watch me. Okay. Just chew. Okay. But that I just loved it. There was such wisdom in that. And then I'll come back to talking about the cleanse, but I have to tell you one more thing about Larry. Okay. So I was going to him to get my certification in energy work and body healing of some of the stuff he did. And he didn't certify too many people, and you just have to really stick with this. So I wanted it so badly, whatever it took. He knew how to adjust bones without going to the hospital. People went to him because he knew how to put things in place. He was an amazing healer and energy worker. So the day came after 5 years. It was time for me to have Larry test me to see, after all this time, that I've remembered and got what he was teaching me. So, which meant he laid down on the table for almost a couple hours, and I would go through head to toe everything he taught me. 5 minutes into the session, he's snoring. Okay. He is snoring. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay. I have done this for 5 years. I'm like, what the heck? And he is just snoring, and this is going on the whole time. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going through the test. Okay. I am going to do everything to his body, whether he is asleep or he's awake. We're getting this done. Okay. And I'm getting my certificate. And when it was right before it was all done, right before it was done, he opens his eyes and he's like, oh, I'm like, Larry, you slept through the whole thing. You were snoring the whole time. He said it was wonderful. And I'm like, what in the world? He said, Judy, I have just been waiting for you to have the confidence that you believed in what you were doing. Oh my gosh. I'll, so there was such wisdom in that. Okay. And, detoxifying, own your own body, taking care of your health and your well-being it's a big confidence builder. Okay. When they're in the stuff that came to me on and on from having the experience of honoring and loving and taking care of my body, it's there's a relationship there. It's because most people feel disconnected from their body. A lot of people feel from the waist down, they're like, they know they have a waist and hips and legs, but they don't feel connected. They might feel in their mind, that there's all this going on, but the body is just a separate entity. Okay. The cosmos is holding our body together. Okay. It's beautiful. And to be able to have this work in sync with our whole essence and being in a respectful, honorable way. Some of you might have heard of Louise Hay. She was one of my teachers years ago as well. Awesome lady. Oh my goodness. She was really the first person who taught me mirror work. Oh, I still could talk for a little bit, right? Okay. And like looking at your eyes into the mirror, okay, and look directly to yourself. I love you. I love you. I love you. She was passionate about loving herself. And I remember talking with her one time, and she was saying about how she's rubbing her feet and just giving it so much love and appreciation for everything that they went with her to walk through life. Okay. To me, it raises a level of awareness and a level of gratitude that not take this for granted. We have one body, okay, a shell, a temple to walk in oneness with until we are done, till we are leave the earth. Okay. And not to take this for granted. And like I shared the last time, when we spend the first half of our life doing stuff to our body and putting a lot of money and toxins, whatever, into it, then we're going to spend the rest of our life trying to undo that. We get to have such an opportunity in a group like this to be able to share and keep raising the awareness like that. We don't have to be stuck in these chronic conditions just because in my genes, I come from a family, there is so much arthritis, there's so much inflammation, hip replacements, it just goes on and on. I don't have to walk that path, but it's up to me to own my own body, take responsibility. Then what other changes do I need to make to understand this? What do I need to do to bring my body back into balance? And here's where I go back to the two things. The body gets out of balance, too much of something Toxicity, not enough of something else, is deficiency. And that's what we're trying to bring that level of awareness so we can make those positive changes. So this is important too. And I learned this a lot from the Hopis, and I've learned it from Larry. Always prayed over his food. Take his hands, hold his energy over the food, and be so thankful. Okay. Now, the herbs, I have the same honor and the same respect. Okay. These are not over-the-counter medications. These are not something, okay, you get through a prescription. I could take it. Thyroxine is for my thyroid, and I don't have to do anything else. It's going to just give my body the thyroxine it needs, and we're all good. Okay. The difference between the herbs, it gets the body to work on its own. It awakens a lot of the conditions where for example, let's talk about the thyroid, the herb kelp. Okay. In taking the herb kelp as an example, or you take iodine as an example, it communicates to the thyroid to produce thyroxine. Okay. It's not going in there, just putting a plug in and don't worry, I'm taking over like like a thyroid medication. I'll give you the thyroxine. You don't have to do anything. Okay. I want my body to work as well on its own as it can. And that's why I love working with herbs. Herbs has a higher intelligence. It comes from the earth. It comes from plant life. And we really select high quality products and herbs that go into what we make, because I know it goes into people's bodies, people's beings, and it has a vibration and energy of such pureness. And that's what helps us to innately to keep healing. So in taking your herbs, okay, whatever using that people will use on the 30-day cleanse, or let's say I'm just going to use the pure cleanse. Maybe you're going to just start with a couple things. Whatever it is I call the herbs friends, and our customers have nicknamed the herb products friends for life, because the longer you take them, the deeper it works. This is nature working. It is just fabulous. And that, to me, that's very different than just popping a pill and thinking it's masking the situation. With the herbs, we're getting more to the core of the conditions, and we're getting more to the core of opening up the life that is in every cell of our body, in every vibration of our thoughts. That is so neat to experience. That's why, Paul sees, oh, wow, this is starting to really make a difference for sure. And like I said, it depends what a person's really ready for. If you want to get 100% results, you get 100% involved. If you just want, halfway results, half measures here, then just that's all the results you're going to get. But when you take these herbs, whatever this process is, to the degree you want to get involved, feel the life, the gratitude, and the appreciation. I thank the herbs all the time. Okay. When I hold water with the water, be thankful for the water. Okay. It's our cells and our being knows so well when there is life energizing going on. It's just really, really cool. I don't know, Nancy, if you're okay that I share this, because you're like my number one example from years and years ago. So Nancy came to the office for iridology and some colon issues and different things, right?
Right.
And she kept coming to me for 2 years, right? Two years, not a change. She'd come back week after week, month after month, not one thing changed. I'm like, what is this lady doing? I wouldn't keep coming back to me. Okay. There's nothing going on here. She's taking her herbs, she's doing everything. And she just would keep coming back. And then after 2 years, almost to the day, it was like a plug let loose. Okay. Right, Nancy? And it was so amazing what opened up.
Mhm. Yeah, that definitely helped me a lot. And Judy would drag me around to all her friends like Larry and Jim Jenks, and I'm like, why is she taking me to these places? And and they other people were working on me. She was having people read my charts too, because I wasn't moving anything, and then finally it did. So it's really great.
And the beautiful thing about it, on a personal level, there was something else that finally got felt, right? And
Mhm.
surfaced on an emotional, deeper healing level. It took that long to make that level of breakthrough. And
Right.
it was just phenomenal. And this was like such a fabulous example of, if a person's breathing, don't give up on them. I don't care. Whatever it takes. The universe, higher power, God knows when these plugs are going to let loose, and real healing on many levels will start with a person. This taught me to trust nature over and over again, no matter what. And I always have such great gratitude for Nancy, because Nancy didn't give up on Nancy. Okay.
Right.
She kept coming, and she kept knowing, I want to feel better. I know there's something here. I'm not going to give up. And this just shows from years and years later.
Right.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So having the the honor and the faith, the awareness, I don't know, just studying this is so powerful. Okay. And before I got into natural healing, or wellness and getting well myself, I really thought I was going crazy. Okay. My mind at times, it, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. I was born to live in that much pain. There were things I just couldn't even wrap my head around. And when I'd go to different doctors, oh my gosh, I went to so many doctors, and they finally were concluding it's all in my head. Well, now I don't care. Okay. I don't care what they think it's in my head, because what I'm doing now is, I can feel it. I can feel it working. I can feel things really changing. Okay. So now I take it as a compliment. Okay. If they say it's all in your head, I'm like, that's great, because it is, to create the mind and the imagination and the thought. We got to think. If I didn't think that, calling perfect wellness into every cell of my body, and believing something can absolutely happen and change, it just wouldn't happen. So yes, it starts in our head. We've got to desire it. We've got to want it, for anything else to be different. And I love, the statement of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. That just never works. okay? Or the same principle that Chris and I, we've talked about this too, or been around it. Oh, I'm going to go to Home Depot and buy bread, okay? Meaning I want to feel better, but I'm going to keep doing this and this and this. No, you know, getting involved in a better life and the true principles that are set, these are laws in the universe that will work every time. How long it takes and when exactly that moment is, I don't know, but I do know everything leans towards the light, towards the truth, and towards love, towards well-being all the time. Does anybody want to chime in on anything? Diane, Tommy, do you have anything you would want to share?
No, I love the conversation. The great thing about doing this whole thing is that Judy isn't far away. So whenever I have the oddest question about what's going on in my detox cleanse, I'll call her and I'll be like, hey, and she will invariably say, oh, that's great. It's so great. And I'm like, really? That's awesome. She's like, no, it's working. It's working. So no, it's been great. It's just been amazing. I feel like I don't just feel like, I just feel like a lot of the weight of my world is off my shoulders. Things shift when because you're a spiritual being in a physical body. And when you begin to stay committed and start taking care of that body and what you created in that body because of your thinking and your mindset and all the other stuff that, happens, it's just amazing what happens to the spirit in you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It just comes alive as well.
Mm-hmm.
It just revitalizes as well. So I have no complaints. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Diane.
Judy, I think it was really interesting how you summed up at the end with the doctor saying it's all in your head. And, there's some truth to that, because from what you said at the beginning of this call, we start detoxing from our head. So that's where all the toxins apparently, or a good portion of them, hang out. And so I thought that was really interesting how you ended with the doctor saying it's all in your head.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that said to me myself. So
Mm-hmm.
to know that the detox starts at the head, makes your brain think and be able to be useful like it used to be is great.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Nancy. Last night I was on a Zoom call with a chiropractor and his patients, and we were talking before the call the day before, and I said, yeah, I would get on and talk about some things. And it was a lot of people being affected mentally and physically from isolation. It's a real deal, okay? And what this is doing to the gut, what this is doing to the brain, what this is doing to the whole digestive system, lymphatic system, disrupting rest. I mean, it goes on. And being able to know we are doing something every day right now to make some positive changes to keep the circulation moving, to keep the toxins moving out, keep the mind really healthy and the brain detoxified and stronger. Especially now, to do it during some of the hardest times. Oh my gosh, the benefits that we will continue to keep reaping can only really help other people. So I'm just so appreciative to everybody being on here. And I'm going to do something different tonight. Okay. Since I'm doing something different right now in my life, almost every day right now. And, but before I end, I'm not going to end in the way Kimberly thought I was going to end. So but I will mention the new guide on the website. If you want to download it, we made a couple edits and changes. The program itself is the same, but I revised some things on there. So feel free to download the new one if you want. But I would like to end this session knowing, kind of looking who's all on here at this moment. And I want to take a couple minutes before we end. And I'd like all of you to take a few minutes. I want you to create nothing, just wellness and love and gratitude into every cell of your body. And I just kind of feel this and just claim your perfection, your perfect health. And I'm going to close my eyes for a few minutes, and I'm just going to offer a blessing on everybody who's in this group tonight. And I'm going to take a couple minutes, and let's just close our eyes. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes, and you feel how calming that is. Just very peaceful. And I was going to say all of you have a safe drive home, but I think that's just me. And thank you for joining tonight. And then we'll be in touch with you for the next meeting.
Okay, thanks, Judy. This was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Judy.
Have
You
a
all
good
have a
night,
great
everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Judy.
Yeah, thank you. Oh,
Thanks, Judy. Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye-bye.